Welcome to Around and Around, the OCD Circle. My name is Elizabeth, and I have been living with obsessive compulsive disorder for over 60 years. I am not a therapist or a member of the medical community. I am just an ordinary person like yourself who will be sharing my thoughts and experiences with you, with the hope that you will feel less alone. If you don't have OCD, I hope you will learn some information that will help you understand this disorder better. Some of the topics I will be covering may be triggering for you as a listener. If so, I apologize in advance. Since I don't know what your triggers are, please refer to the episode summary in the show notes before listening to each episode. If at any time you feel like hurting yourself or ending your life, please call the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988 if you are in the United States. It is open 24 hours a day, and you will be connected with the nearest crisis center to receive immediate counseling and local mental health referrals. Now, on to today's episode. Good morning. Welcome back, everyone, to Around and Around the OCD Circle. Today I have for you the conclusion of my conversation with Michael and Traci Perkins to discuss how one partner having obsessive compulsive disorder can affect relationships. If you haven't already listened to part 1 of this fascinating conversation, I encourage you to go back and listen. People in relationships with individuals who have obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, may encounter various challenges. It's important to note that OCD affects individuals differently, and the severity of symptoms can vary. Traci and Michael discussed some common issues that they face with Traci's OCD, such as avoidance behaviors, impact on social life, emotional toll, therapy and treatment challenges, and balancing support and boundaries. I also mentioned my wife's comments about these issues with regard to our relationship. I hope you enjoy today's episode and that it helps you feel less alone. Yeah, Michael, I don't know if you know my story, but my OCD is intrusive thoughts, not so much rituals. And so my wife has never known these intrusive thoughts until this podcast came out.
Wow.
Like, I never told her anything. So she's over there sitting there thinking, what? I just say, oh, my OCD is really bad. And she's like, okay, what does that mean? And I'm just like, nothing. I'm not going to tell her, right? So now that she knows, there's so many questions.
Right.
Wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know that, Beth.
Yes, and I talked about this on another episode that I had meant for this podcast to be private, well, to be like anonymous, and I was not going to give her the link. But then she was kind of feeling left out.
Hmm.
So we had a therapy session together where I told her exactly what my thoughts are
Mm-hmm.
so that my therapist could be there to chime in, from a professional point of view. And it really helped.
I'm glad. I'm sorry you felt you had to keep it in. You know, I feel like some people with OCD are in the closet with it. We try to hide it. I mean, I know I do at work.
Yeah.
I do my best to hide it at work.
Well, we talked about this, Traci, that my obsessions are with people. It's always one person, and it can be from like 6 months to 6 years. And so I think in my mind, I was thinking she was going to think it was romantic in nature. And no matter what I told her, she was going to still think, oh, you're obsessed romantically with this person. But it could be a person I've ever even met or somebody I don't even like. But I didn't know how to express that to her where I knew she would really understand that, no, this is not a romantic obsession.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kept it private.
I get it. Well, and I'm glad she obviously loves you if she's, learning about it and listening to you and she's being receptive to it. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think it answers a lot of questions and behaviors and just a whole lot for her.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that I've kept her in the dark so long. So,
Yeah. I get it.
all right, the next one is avoidance behaviors. Some individuals with OCD may avoid situations or places that trigger their obsessions. This avoidance can limit the couple's activities and experiences, impacting the overall quality of the relationship. Now, I seriously doubt that Michael wants to go into the eye of a tornado, but have there been situations or places that y'all have avoided because of OCD?
Dude, tell her. Joplin.
Uh,
Joplin.
well, like, I mean, well, for example, the weather. I actually love bad weather.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't go into the eye of a tornado. She has the anxiety from the storms, and I love bad. I love thunder and lightning. I love the wind and everything else. And we have literally ran from bad weather before,
Yes.
which is a bummer for me because like when we have storms blow through, I wouldn't mind sitting outside and watching them, but she needs somebody sitting with her, helping her keep an eye on the weather. So
Sure.
I have to like miss out on stuff like that. It's not really avoiding going somewhere, I guess technically, but
Well, just expanding on that a little bit, Beth. Okay, so like, whenever we're planning a trip, okay, with Michael's health issues, we had to go to St. Louis. And along the way, he wanted to go to the zoo, which we did, and all these fun things. But then my mom and sister and him wanted to eat in Joplin. Now, I don't know if you're familiar. You know that story?
Oh, yeah, I've been to Joplin.
Girl, let me tell you.
I've seen the wreckage there.
Oh, no. I had a darn near meltdown like, I will get out of this car. Do not take. I mean, we have to avoid going to certain places. Like, I'll tell them, even with those cosplay conventions I do over in Little Rock, I'm like, we need to check the weather forecast because if it's predicted to be bad, we're not going.
actually there was a little story about that last convention we went to, not this past September, but the September before. The hotel that we stayed in, we were up on like the 12th or 13th floor.
15th.
The 15th floor. Yeah. And the night that we checked in, she started having issues because I guess she could see out the window, and she started getting really bad anxiety, things of that nature. And then she wouldn't tell me or her sister why that night, but then she told us the next day she was worried because it was so close to 9/11.
Yep.
That something was going to happen to us because we were higher up in the building, and she was worried that something might happen. How are we going to get down or out of the building?
What if it collapses?
What if it collapsed? You know, and all of that stuff. Yep. So things like that do happen, and they don't prevent us from going places, but they can pop up kind of out of nowhere, seemingly.
And that one did, Beth, because I'm not even afraid of heights.
Right.
I mean, I'm not. But that night, I think the very next day was 9/11. And we're in a tall building, and it just subconsciously, it just got to... They couldn't even get me to go up to the room for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know where I was this year on September 11th?
You were flying!
I was in an airplane.
Girl.
I was scared shitless.
Oh.
But I did it.
You go, girl. Was it at least a smooth flight?
Well, the thing is, I had to change planes, and I never changed planes before. And I was petrified because I had to land and take off twice. And
I'm proud of you.
I don't know.
You did it.
All right, the next one is kind of the same, but a little bit different. Impact on social life. Socializing can be challenging for individuals with OCD, and their partners may feel limited in their ability to engage in social activities. This can lead to feeling of isolation. And so this is more the social interactions, I think.
It's actually it's kind of funny. Traci is amazing in public.
Thank you.
Like, I actually enjoy. I will just sit back and just watch her interact with people in public because I am not that way in public at all. I actually get anxiety in crowds.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoy just watching her. I can't even explain it. It just it's almost magical.
I love you.
Just watching her just interact with people in public, and I think it's because of her acting background that she just kind of puts that acting mask on and just performs. So she just kind of gets to step out of herself. So I don't know if that's what she's actually doing or not. But it seems like when she's in public, she gets to not be completely herself for a little while, maybe. I don't know.
You know what's funny though, Beth? Like it seems like no matter what I do, I always get put in a customer facing role because I mean, I'm not bragging, but the bosses think that I'm really good at it. And to be perfectly honest with you, and I don't want this to sound hateful or anything, and Michael's already laughing, I'm actually quite antisocial. Like, when I'm off work, I just want to be left the heck alone. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. I don't even want anyone to talk to me. I mean, I'm the friendliest antisocial person you'll ever meet. I don't even get
it. I don't either.
Yeah. Go figure.
My wife and I talked about this, and when we went to Vegas to have our commitment ceremony in 2009, I had a major panic attack. It was the worst panic attack I've ever experienced. And so we had to leave the group of people we were with to go back up to the hotel. And so she missed out on that whole night together with her friends.
Mm.
But she wanted to be with me. I offered to let her stay, but she came back to the hotel with me. Thank goodness, or I probably wouldn't have made it back. Probably be sitting out there on that sidewalk still. But recently we had a Christmas party, and I was worried that I was going to have a panic attack because there was going to be a real trigger there for me. And we almost canceled it. And she asked me several times, "Are you sure you don't want to cancel?" And I mean, right up to the day before, I was about to, but I went ahead and did it. And because I thought, I don't want her to miss out on this party at our house, to see her friends. And so I did it. But sometimes I think I'm worried about panic attacks affecting our, get-togethers and things like that.
Yeah.
I get that. Totally get that. But it's also good of you because, like we said, with the partners, it's give and take.
Right.
And sometimes us with OCD, it's like, yeah, we do have to, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but I don't want to take away from Michael Perkins either.
It's kind of compromising, and we have to think about how the other person feels, and we can't always have our way.
Exactly.
Just because we have OCD does not make us special.
Right.
In that way. You know what I mean? We cannot use it as a crutch.
Right. Because it's not all about us.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could go around and tell everybody, I have OCD, so just ignore me. Or, understand I have OCD. But you can't do that.
Right.
You have to figure out how to manage it so that you can live a relatively normal life, as far as other people are concerned.
Yeah, and you know me, Beth, I have a sense of humor about it, but there are times when I get mad because I'm like, I didn't ask for this. I don't want to deal with this. But, yeah, what you're saying is 100% correct.
Yeah. All right, the next one is emotional toll. Coping with a partner's OCD can be emotionally draining. Partners may experience feelings of helplessness, frustration, or sadness as they witness the impact of OCD on their loved one.
All of the above.
Yeah.
I wish that that I could do something about it. I think more than anything, I don't like to typically buy into the whole traditional, well, I'm the man, I should take care of everything, but I want to take care of the woman that I love, and to be able to like take anything away from her that's causing her pain or anything, and just knowing that there's this thing that she has to deal with that I can't make go away. I can help her deal with it, and I can make it better at times.
You do.
But I
You
can't
do.
I can't get rid of it, you know, I can't make it go away. You know, and that makes me sad sometimes, for sure.
Well,
Well, that's when you do things like go to her mom and talk and get some ideas. You know.
well, and just realize that I think everyone's dealing with something, and I can understand where he's coming from because you know, he has so many health issues, the biggest of which is diabetes, and I have watched them try to kill him a couple of months ago. So I get it. It's like if I could take that out of his body, I would in a hot second.
Yeah.
I hate watching him suffer. I mean, he can't even have certain things that I can. Cheesecake. Yeah, these cookies right here that I meant to hide. I'm sorry. But yeah, I get it. Stop looking at him.
So he supports you with your OCD and you support him with his health issues.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Give and take.
That's awesome. That's the makings of a great relationship and successful one.
You hear that, baby? Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome. The next one is therapy and treatment challenges. Encouraging a partner with OCD to seek therapy or treatment can be difficult if they are resistant or do not recognize the need for help. Convincing someone to engage in treatment can be a delicate and ongoing process. This may not apply to you guys.
Well, I think the biggest challenge for that is the area that we're in.
Yeah.
And what's actually available.
Yep, which is nothing.
Yeah, I know exactly where y'all are located.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, so you know.
Yes.
And then, I mean, there's online options and stuff like that, but then there's the monetary costs and things like
Yep.
that, and it's just,
It's a joke.
yeah, it's definitely something that would be helpful, and is definitely recommended for sure. But you know, it's just in the meantime, just trying to, you know, as we said, just hold on to each other and help each other and assist each other as much as we can, you know, and using the other, you know, family members as far as that's concerned for resources.
Yeah.
You know, her mom probably is sick of us because we lean on her a lot.
Yeah.
Both of us, you know, when we just need somebody to talk to about what we're dealing with the other one. She talks to her mom a lot about dealing with my health issues, and I talk to her mom a lot about
My mental health.
about her OCD and stuff. So, but
My mom's awesome.
yeah, I'm definitely, especially having, you know, some kind of education in psychology, I'm definitely all for, you know, if you can get a hold of a good therapist, somebody professional to talk to, that I would definitely do that. I mean, even if you don't have OCD, it's helpful just to have somebody that's not affiliated with your life, that can see things from a perspective outside looking in.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, I've been in therapy for over 20 years, so my wife never has to say, well, maybe you should call your therapist. I always say, I'm going to call my therapist. It never gets that far.
Good.
The next one is balancing support and boundaries. Finding the right balance between offering support and maintaining healthy boundaries can be challenging. Partners may need to navigate how to be supportive without enabling compulsive behaviors.
And are you breathing okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
I don't know if this would necessarily apply. I don't think
I
that...
really don't. Yeah.
I guess that would probably be like if somebody's in a codependent relationship, maybe, or um,
I don't know.
they're enablers and they're giving in to things. We don't have that in our relationship, so. But I'm sure there are other people listening that do.
Yeah.
It's important for both partners to communicate openly, seek professional guidance, and work together to maintain the challenges that OCD may present in a relationship. Therapy, both individual and couples therapy, can be beneficial in addressing these issues and developing effective coping strategies. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you guys want to bring to the table here? I'd love to hear any stories or anything else you want to talk about.
Thank you, Beth. No, just that, I mean, with OCD, the struggle is ongoing. And as the partner with the OCD, I get that. And I know it's frustrating for him, it's frustrating for me. But I think most of us with OCD, we love who we're with, and I think a lot of us do want to try. We do want to get better. We want to understand our condition and not work to cure ourselves of it because we can't, but to improve ourselves. We don't like being this way. I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm not this way to make life miserable for him, I guess. And he knows that. I don't know. I know it's hard.
And see, I think my perspective is I don't want you to necessarily feel like when you look at yourself, even with the OCD, that just because you have OCD, yeah, okay, that's a mental condition, it's a disorder, but I mean, there's lots of people with the disorders that doesn't necessarily, that doesn't necessarily have to mean like, oh, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me,
Yeah. And
I want you to be you, if like when I laugh at you for tapping the phone, or you have to flip the light switch off and on, and
I laugh at
and
me.
things like that, like I want you to, like, if you can fight it, cool, but if you can't fight it, that's fine. Because I mean, I know that you fight all day for 8 hours a day plus at work in public, hiding that because you don't want the world to see that all the time, because you don't want anybody else judging you because they don't know you as a person.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're home, this is your safe space. If you're going to do those things, if you want to fight it, great. I'm behind you 110%. If you need to, but I don't want you to be down on yourself either. I don't like.
No, I appreciate that.
And I don't want you to, feel bad for me because I don't feel bad for me.
Oh, I appreciate that. And see, Beth, we're both big proponents of your OCD that's not all you are. OCD is just a part of who you are.
Right.
And we've joked and laughed that, I mean, he doesn't think I'd be the same Traci without OCD.
Mm-mm.
OCD, I've always been a humorous person, but I feel like it's made my sense of humor stronger because I think laughter is a powerful tool to deal with it. Mm-hmm. But go ahead. We've rambled. I'm sorry.
No, you're not rambling at all. Did you know anybody with OCD before you met Traci, Michael? Like when you were an adult?
Other than that fellow student at school, and I didn't know him like very well. We were in the same dorm together. I knew people that used to always talk about, oh yeah, I have OCD because I do this or do that, but they weren't actually OCD.
I hate that.
They had compulsive behaviors, but they weren't actually OCD.
Yeah, Traci and I talked about that last time.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that I learned when me and her met and got reacquainted as adults was that there is a difference.
There is a difference. Yeah, try telling his dad that. And I'm not bad-mouthing your dad.
No, it's okay.
It irritates me when he does it.
Well, when we close on my podcast, I always ask my guests if they have some words of wisdom for the listeners. So in this case, people who are in relationships, do y'all have any words of wisdom for them?
Patience. I mean, that to me is one of the biggest keys in a relationship, period. Is just being patient and understanding. I mean, there's a reason why you're with the person that you're with, and just trying to remember that, through all the frustration and whatever temporary aggravations might pop up,
And I'm going to try to follow that because that was pretty darn good. But my big thing is compromise. Because I know Michael does it and I do it. And I really do try to meet him halfway. There's some days that I fall flat on my face, but I love him and I know I have this condition. And I truly want to be the best version of me for him and me, but for him, because he doesn't have to be with me. He chooses to be, because, I mean...
I kind of like you.
Yeah, I like you too.
Well, I thank you both for taking the time to speak with me today, and my listeners may have some questions for you. If they do, they can just put those in the show notes or message me on my email address or join our Facebook group. Traci's in that Facebook group. And maybe we'll have y'all back on again.
All right.
All right, it'd be my pleasure.
Everyone have a great day.
You too.
Thanks, everybody.
I hope you learned a lot from today's episode. Michael and Traci are a great couple, and I thank them both for opening themselves up to the world about how OCD impacts their day-to-day lives. Be sure to check out our Facebook page for extra support. We would love to have you as a member. It's absolutely free to join. I would love to have you as a guest on my podcast to share your OCD story. Please contact me at aroundandaroundtheocdcircle@gmail.com if you're interested. Feel free to follow me on my social media platforms. The links are listed in the show notes. Remember, you are not alone. I am in your corner. OCD cannot be cured, but it can be managed, and I am living proof of that. I hope each of you has a wonderful week. See you next Monday.